Welcome to Bay State Golf. I'm Sean Melia. I'm trying to play every golf course in the state of Massachusetts. That's public, private, 9 holes, 18 holes. Up to this date, I have played 157 of about 340 since June of 2020. Today, I'm going to give you 10 golf courses that you should absolutely try to play before the end of the 2025 season, which sadly is coming to a close, maybe a little bit faster than we all want it to. Before we get to those golf courses, just a quick plug. Please subscribe and like this video. Helps other people find them. And you can also get my newsletter in your inbox every Friday morning if you go to baystategolf.beehive.com. My Friday newsletter is free. I send out some other newsletters and give some access to paid subscribers if you'd like to support me covering amateur events, getting out on the road to play different golf courses. It definitely helps me do what I'm trying to do here at Bay State Golf. So let's get into the 10 golf courses that you would do very well to play the rest of this season. If you get to a few of these, you're doing okay. I broke these up into 3 tiers. I have a Splurge-Worthy. Maybe you're looking for a trip. Maybe you've got a birthday. Maybe you've got just something you want to do in September, October to wrap up the year in style. Then I've got golf courses that are in the $60 to $100 range to walk. Some of these places have carts included. And then finally, I've got some value picks, $60 or less. Try to do $50, and there were a lot of golf courses that I wanted to suggest that were in the 55 mid-range of 50s, so I just bumped it up to 60. Got some places that are a little bit less as well. So that's kind of the range we're working in. 3 different tiers. You can pick and choose. Tried to find some places all over the state because I've been fortunate enough to travel around and play a bunch of courses. As usual, these are courses I have played. If I have not played a golf course, it doesn't make this list. That's just my personal rule. So if you're hoping for a place to hop on here and it's not, it could be because I have not played there. I'm going to give you one right now. I have not played Pine Hills. Haven't gone down there to play their 36 holes, so that's not going to be on the Splurge list here. I have played Granite Links. That is not going to be on the Splurge list because it's not a place I would send anyone to go play. So after that, we've set the tone. Let's talk about the 3 Splurge-worthy golf courses I think you should go play before the end of the year. At least get to one of these. That would be pretty great. First is Taconic. Second is Waverly Oaks. And third is the Ranch. Let's talk about Taconic first. $180 to walk. Have some different rates if you might know an alumni at Williams College because it's owned by Williams College. You can play as a guest of a member. You can also just play as a person who can call 5 days in advance to play Taconic. So it's semi-private. It is the answer to the question I get most often, what's your favorite course in Massachusetts? This is the public answer because it is in a lovely setting. It's an awesome test of golf. It has one of the best back nines in the entire state. It's in great shape, awesome greens. Go check out Taconic. I've done a whole spotlight on it that I will add in the description or a card up here. Just a really, really good golf course. So that's Taconic. Waverly Oaks, $140 at peak price. I think you can also, if you play during the week, it gets down to $85. Range, balls included, cart included. That's pretty great. Brian Silva design, big, brawny, bulky golf course. You've got some tough par 3s, specifically the 17th hole. The 16th is a kind of a big par 5. The 15th has a really great punch bowl green. Silva's a little bit of, like a Rayner, CB McDonald likes to pull in some of those. There's a Redan par 3 on the course as well. The 9th hole is wild. Hit an iron out in the fairway, and then you're hitting straight uphill to a plateau green. Really, really tough hole. Great experience, good energy there, good patio after the round. So Waverly Oaks down in Plymouth, Mass. Certainly a splurge-worthy option that I would recommend. Third is the Ranch. $125, range balls and cart included. I played here last October. A little bit cheaper. You get into the shoulder season and discounts start to show up as well for some of these golf courses. The ranch is another kind of like Waverly Oaks. I use brawny. It is a big brawny golf course. Incredible views. If you play it kind of closer to foliage season, you're going to get some really, really great scenery from a few of the tee boxes, the 9th and the 16th in particular. But a really good, well-conditioned, challenging golf course. It is a hard walk. I did walk it in October. You're just kind of slowly climbing throughout the whole round. But the ranch is a really good option. It is in Southwick, Massachusetts. So if you're in the Boston area, you're driving out there. I made a day trip of it, played 9 holes on the way out at Quabog in Munson, Mass, which was a fine little 9-holer. I wanted to check off something else as I was driving out to the ranch. Wanted to make the trip a little bit more worthwhile. But the ranch as a solo day trip, if you're in Connecticut, if you're in New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, it's all kind of accessible from a lot of different parts of New England, and it's kind of centrally located. So that's the ranch. So those are the 3 splurge-worthy courses that I'm picking out for you to try to go play: Taconic, the ranch, and Waverly Oaks. Probably the most popular price range I have found as I've played golf courses, as I've compiled lists, as I've just looked at different price ranges, is that $60 to $80 range to walk. I made this a little bit bigger, stretched it out to $60 to $100. That might not be necessarily a fair fight for some places, but this gave me 3 places that I particularly liked, and I think you should go check them out. You could play all 3 of these over the course of the fall. They're not really close to each other, but if you wanted to make a couple trips, or if you live in a spot that makes these places easy to get to, these are 3 really good ones. The first, the most expensive, $95 to play Wachusett Country Club in West Boylston, Massachusetts. Really, really impressed with Wachusett Country Club. I checked this course off in 2021. I went back this summer in 2025 and played it for the first time since. It's always been on my list of I got to go back and see it again. And I was reminded why that was a course that just kind of stuck in my head. Donald Ross design, public golf, $95. I've heard that some people pay for a cart on top of the $95, and I've heard from other people who pay $95 and the cart is included. So just beware, you might show up thinking $95 is the whole thing and you're going to pay extra for a cart if you want to ride, or maybe you show up expecting to pay more and you don't because they don't charge you. It's unclear to me what they're doing, or if it just depends on who's in the shop, but $95 is what I paid to walk. Some people are paying different prices, but that's the most you're going to pay to walk this golf course on a weekend. Greens are exceptional. They're Donald Ross greens. They've kept them, intact. A lot of cool slopes, a lot of good fun putts. The routing is pretty straightforward. A lot of short walks from greens to tees. It can be a long round from what I've heard. The 2 times I played it, I didn't really run into that, but I also can play during the week. I played on a Friday morning this July. Just go play Wachusett. The back 9 is very tight, and I think that's where the long rounds come into play. People can end up on other people's holes. There's a kind of a tough par 3. The 13th, the 12th is a hard hole. The 12th is probably one of my favorite par 4s that I've played on the Quest. Of all 156 golf courses I've played, just a really strong dogleg right, awesome green, big false front. You got to hit 2 very good shots to have a look at birdie, and just really like that hole, like the back 9 in general. But Wachusett, awesome conditions. Donald Ross, public golf for under $100. Value at $95 feels like it's maybe a little bit glib of a phrase to use, because $95 is a lot for a round of golf. But just as far as like value and pound for pound money that you're paying, Wachusett is definitely one of the golf courses that you should go play, and it's because it feels like you're getting a really good value. Acushnet River Valley is the next course on this list of $60 to $100 range. It is $60 at peak price to walk. It's a municipal golf course owned by Acushnet, Massachusetts, and it's a golf course. Now that I've played Wachusett and returned to play it, it's kind of at the top of the list of courses I need to go back and play. I look back at my pictures. And I did not take a lot of pictures. I did not take a lot of video. I think I just had my phone with me that day. I had actually driven all the way down from Hooper golf course up in Walpole, New Hampshire. I played there the night before, slept over, and then drove down. And my brain was just a little bit fried. Wasn't really paying attention and didn't take a lot of good footage, as you'll see as you're watching this. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but it is in excellent condition. It's just a really good, interesting golf course. It's a little bit like Butterbrook, where if you've played Butterbrook, you play the first 10, 11, 12 holes, weave through some trees, and then you come out into this open, marshy land. It's a little bit more penal than Butterbrook, where you've got kind of waste areas and you can still spray it and it feels open. This feels a little bit tighter. Wind can blow, some tricky holes, some funny blind shots depending on how high the reeds are on the marsh, where you can't really see where your ball's going to land. The third hole is a really good, drivable, short par 4 and some good par 3s. Just a really good value at $60 to walk at peak price. Play it during the week, and it even gets a little cheaper. So Acushnet River Valley, certainly go, and if you can check that one out, go for it. We're going to head to Cape Cod next and Bass River in Yarmouth. Bass River is a unique golf course to Cape Cod because it's a public golf course with some water views. The 18th hole finishes over the water. It's a par 3. It is $70 to play at peak price. And some people might balk at this as a golf course that I'm telling people to go play because it's kind of easy. It's a little bit straightforward if you're, a very, very good golfer, or you're kind of looking for a little bit of a challenge. It's not super challenging. It's pretty open, especially in the middle part of the golf course. You can kind of spray it a little bit, and that can lead to some slow rounds. But just overall, for $70, you get a really good Cape Cod experience. You've got a little clubhouse, very simple, putting green right on the water. You got some holes finishing that are along the water. And I'm going to Cape Cod in September to play a bunch of golf over the course of 3 or 4 days. And I'll kind of fill people in if you want to go to Baystate_golf on Instagram. I'm going to be documenting it, going to be kind of telling people where I'm playing, looking for people to join me to play so I can just bulk up my Cape Cod golf resume as I'm trying to play every course. I just haven't played a bunch down there. So Bass River is the one I'm going to give you from this little window of value from $60 to $100. I liked it. It's another Donald Ross. We think there's some different thoughts about how much of it is a Ross, which can be the case with some places in Massachusetts and New England in general. But liked Bass River. So Bass River rounds out that 3 middle tier $60 to $100. Wachusett Country Club, $95. Cart might or might not be included there. Buyer beware. Acushnet River Valley, $60 to walk, $80 to ride, peak price, so you are paying for a cart there. Bass River, $70 to walk, you are paying for a cart. All 3 of those are also pretty easy walks if you're kind of a person who wants to try to walk or you're wondering. They're all 3 pretty easy to walk. So that's the middle tier. And then we're going to get to the value tier, $60 or less. Even $60 feels like maybe that's kind of touching the top of the value list. So here are 4 courses, and we'll circle back and talk about them. DW Field in Brockton, Massachusetts, Gannon in Lynn, Green Hill in Worcester, and Veterans Memorial in Springfield. So those 4 golf courses, as I read through them, those are 4 towns that are not known as golf towns. And you should visit all of these at some point in your Massachusetts golfing life and play them because they're all very good. DW Field, $60 at its peak price. Municipal golf. This is another course that is very much on the top of I got to get back and play list. Maybe I'll do a whole video about those. Excellent greens, Styles Van Cleek design. It seems to be getting better from what I hear talking to people. I was playing an event south of the city in early August and talking to some people asking me about golf courses that they should go play. DW Field was one of them, and someone who had played there recently said It's just in very good shape. They keep making improvements every year. I played there 3 years ago now, so I have not been back in a while. And even at that point, people were saying, man, it's so much better than it was in 2018, 2019. So they're just one of those places, and that's kind of the trend with these 4 courses, to be honest, is they're just putting money into them, making incremental changes, making incremental improvements, and that's kind of what they're doing as far as making the place better. Another pretty easy walk. You can ride, obviously. It is a place that if we have a wet September, be warned, because it does get pretty soggy. I'm on their email list, and I often get emails about cart path only, no carts going out if there's really any sort of substantial rain over the course of a couple days, or even just one heavy rainy day can impact people riding. So that's just something to be aware of. But just a really, I liked that golf course, really enjoyed it. Just was blown away by some of the approach shots, hitting into some of the greens. The greens are, I wouldn't say they're wild, but for a municipal golf course, they are not those circular back to front slopes that have just kind of lost their shape. They've done a nice job keeping those true to form. Gannon, $55. I don't necessarily know if it's fair to call this a mini George Wright, because George Wright is far superior to Gannon, and you could argue that should be on this list along with Franklin Park, but I feel like I talk about those golf courses a lot, and if you want to go play George Wright and Franklin Park, I'll tack those on as values. You can play them for just about under $60, and if you're a resident of Boston, you get them for cheaper. Obviously, riding it goes up. But back to Gannon, it is hilly, narrow, a lot of blind tee shots. I think those are the things that make people maybe think about George Wright as they're going around and playing it. You get rock outcroppings, you got some nice views, and it's a pretty good test, and it can be a pretty good test if you spray the ball a little bit. The 18th hole is maybe one of the hardest closing holes in all of the state. Just a massive par 5, absolutely a 3-shotter, and any of the shots, if you just kind of clang it a little bit, makes the next shot very, very hard. So Gannon in Lynn, $55 to walk, a nice option, especially if you live in the city and you're just looking to play something that's somewhat close to home, or if you're north of the city. Gannon, good option. Next up is Green Hill in Worcester. I went to college in Worcester at Holy Cross, never played Green Hill while I was there. Kind of wish I had, just so I had maybe something to compare it to. Another place that people have said has just gotten so much better. This is a hard walk, especially the back 9. Worcester is a hilly area, and this golf course highlights those hills. You're playing the front 9 kind of across a bunch of slopes and hills, and kind of almost where they're to your right and left, and then you get to the back 9 and you're just climbing straight up and down these big hills. And really good par 5s. That would be the thing for me that I would definitely stress as far as just something to highlight. Really good par 5s once you get past the third. The third hole par 5 isn't great, but the other 3 are really good, challenging, scoreable holes. And just this place reminds me of President's a little bit. Just with how kind of tight everything feels. It's hilly. You're kind of on slopes. Balls can roll into some funny spots, especially if you've only been there once or never before. But Green Hill, $54 to walk at peak price. And I don't know if Worcester residents might get a little break there. Most municipals are pretty good about that. And finally, Veterans Memorial in Springfield. This one, the rate was tough to pin down. I played here in June. I don't remember paying as little as what's on here, so take this with a grain of salt. But I just wish golf courses would post a PDF with their prices and let us be able to see them so we can talk about them pretty clearly. It's pretty frustrating. Dynamic pricing now throws some of these things off. You're kind of guessing or giving ranges of things, or you're just frankly sometimes wrong, and I have been wrong about prices because they are our moving target. I found when I went onto their tee sheet today that it's a $29 round of golf for 18 holes to walk on a weekend. That is outstanding. I do not remember paying that little when I played on a Monday in June. Veterans Memorial is kind of a sporty little golf course. The front nine is pretty open, and once you play it once or twice and you figure out some of the quirky holes, the sixth being one that's a little bit of a funny tee shot, you can definitely score on this front nine. And then you get to the back nine. 10, 11 are going to be the holes that most people on the 19th hole are wondering, like, what the hell happened? I made back-to-back doubles, and my round kind of went to hell after that. But if you can survive 10, 11 and get to that open part of the back nine where a tornado blew through about a little more than a decade ago, and took out a lot of trees and opened up that part of the course, you can go back there and hit some pretty good shots and be rewarded with some birdies or pars or whatever you're hunting out there. I liked Veterans Memorial. I thought it was just a good contrast between nines. So you walk across the road, down the hill to the 10th, and you're in a little bit of a different area. Finishes with a par 3. Not always my favorite, but this one was pretty good. You got to hit a mid-iron. It's not kind of a throwaway hole. And the 17th, that green was one of my favorite greens out there. So you get some good greens. Some of them are just round. They were at a very good speed. And what I mean by that is, if you were above the hole and you had 20 or 30 feet, it was tough to two-putt. But if you put the ball below the pin, you had uphill putts, you could be pretty aggressive. They weren't super duper fast, but they were the appropriate speed for the slopes, and putting yourself out of position and you were scrambling around, you were going to have a hard time saving par or two-putting from 30 feet above the hole. So that's kind of one of those things that I liked about Veterans Memorial as well. The 10th hole is probably the one that that green is maybe a little bit too sloped for the speeds they were the day we played. But other than that, $29 to walk a golf course in Massachusetts right now is a pretty good deal, and Veterans Memorial is, I would say, a good deal. You're getting good conditions. You're getting a bunch of different types of holes. You're not playing the same hole over and over again. It's not very repetitive. So that is why I would send you to Veterans Memorial, pay $29 and enjoy a round in, the golfing mecca of Springfield, Massachusetts. So those are the 10 courses that I think you should try to get to. Obviously, 10 is a lot of golf in the next maybe 2 months. But if you are looking for a new spot to go check out at a different price point, I hope these 10 will help you out. What are some suggestions that you have? Put them in the comments. Would love to hear them. And also, like I said, I'm going to be on Cape Cod middle of September, hoping to book some foursomes, maybe play with some followers, some subscribers, some folks wherever on the Cape that I end up playing. What are some suggestions that you have for my Cape Cod 3 or 4 day adventure? And I would love to hear about them, and maybe we can play some golf together as I check off some more courses as 2025 slowly comes to an end, which is sad, but it's sadly true. Thanks for subscribing. Please like this video. BayStateGolf.beehive.com is my newsletter website. You can go over there, and if you're looking for reviews, early access to reviews, you can become a paid subscriber and get some bonus content and some bonus writing that I do. I'll be back next week to recap my August. Got to play some pretty great golf in August, checked off some new courses, got to play the newest golf course in Massachusetts just this past week. Was awesome. Looking forward to sharing that one with you especially. We will see you then, and we will see you in the future, and maybe we'll see you on Cape Cod. Again, let me know some good spots. Until next time, hit 'em straight.